Tiny Games here, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have a speed build using the recent premium shop item, the acorn house. I'm not sure when this is going to be posted. I am bulk filming a bunch of videos because I do have like a week where I'm away, so I'm trying to kind of get a head start. So I've kind of filmed 3 or 4 speed builds, I think, in quite a quick succession, just so that I can get these videos all out and posted. So yeah, there's there's quite a few build videos, but I'm just not sure when I'm going to post them, basically. So yeah, I'm not sure when you're seeing this, but hello. So yeah, this is my speed build for the acorn house. It's a very natural looking build. I wanted it to have a bit of a fairy core whimsical vibe, but I didn't want to go too bright and colourful. Like, I wanted to keep it very, very rustic. It's a very natural looking build. Like, it's mainly using foliage pieces and stuff like that. Like, we're not using a lot of decor. I think in terms of decor, I probably use like 3 or 4 pieces. It's really not a lot. It's a very, very simple build, very natural build. This is basically a kind of like a snippet build. That's a term I've decided to make. It's a thing now. It's a thing now, okay? But basically the idea with a snippet build is they are just very, very small builds that you can use as inspiration to chop in and out of your valley, like copy and paste into your valley. So it's quite small. It's almost like a filler build, but not quite, because it is centered around usually a large building or a structure. But basically it's not a big expansive full build. So it's not like when I do a proper full beach build, or like I've done my plaza tour video. Like, it's not like a complete build like this. Like, this is a small build that you can use and you can put anywhere you want in your valley, in your DLC worlds and stuff like that, and just have it be in an area somewhere quite nice. So that's like the idea behind them. They aren't complete builds, so I haven't decorated the entirety of this floating island. I've literally done this back corner and that's it. It's like a tiny, tiny little build. So that's basically the idea of it, is that it's just a small build that you can use, you can take inspo from, you can chop and change, and hopefully it helps you with decorating in your own valley. That's the whole idea. But yeah, I wanted to keep it a bit rusticy, very natural. Originally I was gonna kind of go for maybe like a bit of a Hobbit vibe, and then like I kind of added in the mushrooms and I was like, okay, no, this is going more fairy core. This is going more fairy core. Like, the outfit I picked when I filmed this video, I was like, yeah, let's go for something a bit on the Hobbit core vibes. And then I ended up doing a fairy core build. But I mean, Lord of the Rings, it is fantasy and stuff like that. So Hobbit core and fairy core kind of go pretty much hand in hand. You know, they're neighbors. They're neighbors. But yeah, I was excited to do this build. I wanted to keep it quite rustic. I went with a very autumnal palette as well. I just thought it worked well with the browns of the house. I do use the Peter Pan whale skin in this. I think this whale skin is fantastic for natural builds like this. Like, it just blends in seamlessly to the rest of the environment. So I absolutely love it. Now, I do use the rustic table and chair set from the Moonstone bundle, but literally any rustic wooden table and chair set would work. Like the set that came from the coffee shop, there was the camping house, the A-frame house that came with a rustic wooden chair. I think we even have like rustic chairs in game. Like, there's the simple stool, which is quite a regular item in the Scrooge shop. That would work perfectly. There's the barrel table, which I do end up using later as well, I believe. Again, that works. You know, anything that's kind of feels very wooden. that kind of vibe would work well. So don't be alarmed that you might not have some of these items and stuff like that, especially if they're premium. Don't worry, there's lots of replacements. I did use these lanterny items from Storybook Vale. I've been wanting to use these in a build, and I just thought this kind of maybe work, because in some ways they look like mini beehives, but then also they have that kind of whimsical fantasy vibe. Yeah, I just thought maybe it kind of worked well. Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you think. I don't know if they feel a bit too ornate. You know what I'd have liked? If they had a darker brown, like a mahogany brown wood. I think that would have blended in better because it would have matched with the house a little bit more. But I think otherwise, I just like the idea of the lanterns. And to be fair, you could use things like the actual like tangled floating lanterns instead if you wanted to recreate that same sort of vibe, but perhaps didn't have this item. I think it would be a great alternative, to be honest. Yeah, I just tweaked the footprint of some of the stuff and like, not the footprint, the location, just so it fits in better a bit more with the pathing. I did want to do a couple of angled kind of directional paths. I mean, it's on an angle anyway, because I've kind of gone into like a corner area here. So technically the main path forward, I think, is technically angled. I think the rest is straight. But yeah, and then it was just a case of filling in a lot with foliage. I do get out a little clock house. It's the Halloween one. Not Halloween. Nightmare Before Christmas one. I mean, it's Halloween themed. It's like the clock tower from that, and I think you get that as a tapestry item. So I did use that because, again, it just had that perfect like rustic vibe. So I really wanted to integrate that into the build as well. Making use of the mushrooms, like I said, lots of orange foliage as well. I really wanted it to have that autumnal feel, and I just thought that matched well with the pathing as well. I just thought it would kind of go alongside it quite nicely. Because I did go for the Sunlit Plateau pathing. I did admit on my stream the other day when I was doing my dream snap that I don't have a lot of love for this pathing. I think it suits in certain biomes. I think in the Sunlit Plateau, like, it obviously is perfect there, like obsessed with it there. I think it works so well, but I just find that sometimes it just looks a bit plain and muddy, which is fine if you want that mud kind of flooring. It's just if you want something a bit more not even structured, but like if you want something a bit more formal, a bit more intentional, like someone has actually laid pathing down rather than mud, which is just mud. Like, I just think like the Sunlit Plateau one is just more like mud. It doesn't feel like a formal path. It works well in very, very natural builds, but in anything that's like a bit more like formal with a proper layout and structure, I feel like a more intentional path is better. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not hating it. I just think there's like more formal pathings. But for this, I thought it went quite well because I did want something that looked very, very natural. Like, someone hasn't intentionally laid a path. It's just from walking regularly on it. Now, one thing I do wish, obviously with the wells, you can't get too close to them. So I do wish we could get a bit closer in terms of decorating. It would be kind of nice. You see, I did try and place a water bucket down and kind of integrate that around, but unfortunately, it wouldn't let us. And I do use a lot of the Vitalist Mind Lamps because they just offer such a good glow. They really do. They're a lovely, lovely item. I see why they're so popular and stuff like that, and especially in Dream Snaps, because I just think so pretty. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it here. There's only about 10 more minutes, I think, left of the speed build anyway. It's not very long. But I'm going to let you watch the rest of the speed build. As I said, I only fill it with a bunch of foliage and stuff. There's not a lot more exciting stuff to come. But I do have a walkthrough at the end. So if you want to see how it all looks like in person, like when you're, I say in person because it's not really in person, but when you're in game, on that in-game level, you can see that at the end. And I do change back to sunset. So don't worry, it's not all at nighttime because I appreciate the speed build is probably looking a bit dark right now. But I do hope you enjoy the rest of this build. I hope it does offer you some inspiration. That's the whole point. I want it to be kind of inspiring for builds and different ways you can do builds and use items and things like that and integrate them into your valley. And I think I did a good job with this. I think I did do a good job. But yeah, you'll have to let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? And if you liked it, don't forget to leave a like on the video. Feel free to subscribe for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content. And I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!